ogbochileta ndị ntorobịa si na etinye nwe ha na ịkpụtọ ọgwụ ike ma ọ bụ itinyeze nwefa na ịdị na nwe mgbe ọbụla uwe na-emebizi nnukwu ive ya bụ ị ga-esonyere anyị dịka anyị na-akapụ isiokwu anyị nwere tata ọnụ. Abụ m onye Kachukwu Ogochukwu.
Yeah, and my name is Emmanuel Okonkwo. Ọmụna Onyeka na anya ya bụ ụgbọ nke ihe mmemme nke ụbọchị taa. So welcome you to today's edition, and don't forget that the person sponsoring this program is the traditional ruler of Ogidi Kingdom, Igwe Pharmacist Alexander Onido. And this program is being brought to you every Tuesday on this your darling station by National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, Anambra State Command. Wana again no chetana isiokwu anyị nwere inebanya n'ụbọchị taa dị very very important. Ihe gbasara ihe kpatalụ ndị mmadụ na-eme na-anwụ ọgwụ ike a babala na-enwe ọgwụ ike mpụta ajụzie mpụta yotago obi ekwesịrị ịlapụ onye ka anyị chọrọ inebe anya. And ndị anyị na nọ na studio n'ụbọchị taa bụ ndị ụlọọrụ NDLEA Anambra State Command. Ndị anyị na anọlị baya etinye ọnụ n'okwu ka ha gwa anyị based on their experiences dịka ndị ọrụ NDLEA ife kpata ndị mmadụ ji eme babala na-enwe ọgwụ ike mpụta anyị ekwezịra ọ ife anyị enebe anya n'ụbọchị taa. Then ndị ya etinye ọnụ n'okwu a ndị nọ na studio with us bụ Madam Priscilla Onyema. Madam Priscilla Onyema bụ Staff Officer in charge of Drug Demand Reduction and Training in Anambra Command of National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. I now say, Madam Priscilla Onyema, you're welcome.
Dalurin Naima, Onyeka, day one.
Yeah,
the people behind the scene, Dalun, the engineering section, and our camera woman. We are happy to work with you.
Good
morning. Una bokwaruchita. Una dokomma. Kai mekwanya kai semia. Ubochi Tuesday abona. Thank you.
Odima ice squares no to akakwena natakwaze onye nka ina nakwaze neba nwa bụ Sir Anosike Chibike Kenneth. Onya bụ staff officer in charge maka administration na NDLEA na ngalaba steeti Anambra na sigino.
All right, good morning. Good morning everybody. The studio, Onyeka, Emmanuel, the young lady handling the camera, the engineering crew, the Anambra State. Good morning to everybody. Happy to be with you today. I hope we're going to have a smooth ride.
Yeah.
As usual.
And Emmanuel, they are the pilots.
No.
No pilot. So I'm no passenger.
Yeah, only passenger.
Yeah.
No.
The case when I mean, I na to manite. I blues on your update. Makanya bolundi NDLEA na law. And then kefalugo nizuka galaga. So I got no akoko dika keke se akowe report. A report says I will make a way to the Yabisioku agitata na akatipa gabanero.
Madam Priscilla Ngwan.
Yes, for the week, Izuka Nkagaraga.
Oh yes.
Batakunya. Under our supply reduction meaning it reduce the supply. And you only do that, you can only reduce the supply by seizing the exhibits they are selling and arresting the people that are selling. We were able to cover Niwi, Obosi, Ubunike, Oka Nkai, Nonimi, and Onisha. Even as we speak, our men are out there struggling, doing what they know how best to do. So this place is Vebendai cover and supply reduction for the week. And for water activities, that is the demand reduction. We were at Epignosis Standard College, Onisha. School Amakakwa. The school did okay, and the children, more than 600 children, they were happy to have us with them, and the whole management came out to listen to us. It was a good one. Then I got an Anocha local government. Anocha Ekosiminya this report last week and Yeromia. I know Chai Jero na the local government secretariat, the mayor is one mother. Hammer empower about 500 youths. Nde Muroro this one youth, two skills. About 500 of them graduated last year. So now this year came a high power. Ilueba Madobo Catholic, in fact. You see about 500 youths, no, with different ndini nemuri mandinke telo, mandinke ICT, mandinke muro kesi ege mema chinchin masnas ndozo, mandia boku ifu ihu mazi amenaka. Mandia mandi umu this ihe umu waije menganga na uzo. Different kind of skills and that no. So we were there to talk to them to also remind them na yeni nenda ono moro yeni nenda ane meperono. The moment you start taking drug, you will not waste only your time and your money. You will waste the effort of the government in trying to establish you, trying to make you a good citizen. So it was a wonderful time with them. And all the kobodo aburuno, because mandi nenana, mandi party, everybody, the stage junono with dignitaries, with even women, men from the village, youths. Then and was here the youths, not dalo, nanamwada, but the men people went obochawa. So it was a wonderful outing at Anocha. Mayor, aye kenege, amamni ganege unuani. Baye kenege kene nwololo gi ndị ọzọ kwa bụ ndị mayor ndị ọzọ I dịkwa open to come and work with you. Thank you very much.
Daalụ. Ọ dị m anyị ga-abanyezi na isiokwu nke ụbọchị nke tata ma bụrụkwazi ihe kpatara ọtụtụ ndị nke na-etinye nwoke a n'ịṅụ ọgwụ o ji afekalava arụ iji wee ghanata azụ maka na nya bụ ife dịka esi wee kọwa ọ bụ ọya mala arụ ga-aga mmadụ tinye onwe n'ime tupu ọ pụta ọ na-afịa arụ ma site n'ike nke Chukwu nakwazi mbọ bụ nke NDLEA na-agba iji wefu na adọpụtasịrị ndị nke dị otu anụnwa ọ na-enyekwazi aka n'ụzọ pụrụ iche but achọrọ m ka m wejele Sir Kenneth ajụjụ anụnwa ka m n'uche nke ya because anyị mago nke anyị niile ji wee bụkwala youth ma ndị nwegolo experience dịka stakeholder ibo kedu ife kpatara some people ji aga o ji afịa arụ to recover especially when they engage in taking all this substance.
All right, daalụ Igbo ọma na-ege ntị ndị Anambra State. You see, drug abuse is something that affects the brain, and when it alters the brain chemistry, trust me, you might not be in charge any longer.
Okay.
Now, there are lots of factors that are underlying factors why one who is abusing drug would always go back, or better still, in the right terms, relapse. Okay. We have factors like brain chemistry. We have factors like underlying mental health. Okay. We have factors like triggering environment. I would talk a little bit on them. And we have factors like genetic predisposition. But let me talk about brain chemistry.
Okay.
When you start abusing drug, what it does is to alter the brain. And when this happens, it makes it difficult for you as a person to be able to stop craving for that particular drug you're abusing. And it also makes it completely impossible for you to withdraw from it. So you will find out that if the damage to the brain is so much in terms of the addiction, effort will be made. That is, if at all the person realizes himself. Most times, on families and all that, that would see the need that we need to help this our brother or sister.
Okay.
And when they see that need, it's very important that the person also in question who is an addict also see the need for him or her to be helped. Now, if the damage has not gotten to the point where it's going to be a struggle, you will find out that efforts that will be put in place will yield positive effect. That is, taking the person to a rehab, making sure there's adequate treatment, and while this is going on, different counseling sections is also being put in place to enable that person, after that process of rehabilitation, to be able to be reintegrated back into the society. So if it has not gotten that bad, there will be a positive outcome at the end of this. But if the addiction has gone beyond what is expected, all effort made can prove abortive. So that's why we are begging now that you can still listen to the radio and understand what we are saying, whether you are abusing a psychotropic substance or a narcotic substance, whichever one, or even the one you buy from your pharmacy shops, now that you can still comprehend and understand what we are saying, that you start to seek help now. We have genetic predisposition. It might be parents, the father and the mother, before now, are into drug abuse. And then to the point it has gotten into the DNA, the system, the fabric. And whether you want to accept it or not, it is in the gene of that baby boy or baby girl. Yes. So when that person will start to abuse drugs, that person will not know. So you will find out that even if efforts are made for that person to come out from it, another important one, the triggering environment. It is very important that even when the client or the person in question has gone through treatment, that within the process of treatment, that you try to realize what led that person into drug abuse at the first place. Because if you will know environmental factor, and after everything, you go back to that same environment, there is 88% chances that the child will relapse. So there are other factors of which I believe my colleague will also throw more light to. Okay. But trust me, there are lots of factors why people into the abuse of drug or that are already addicts would find it very difficult to recover. Okay. Are you getting it? But the positive thing there is that if you discover yourself on time, if the damage is not much,
run for your life.
So, Madam Priscilla, I like this physical aspect of it, like environment. As you can Mr. Anosike who about it. But how can environment also contribute to this issue of relapsing after treatment?
Let's say environment will be no when they drug around that place. Na friends here around that place. Na bad drug. They will welcome him. They will do a feast for him in the bunk. It's just the thing. That is why OG did advisable most of the times after rehab. Let that child change environment from there. Obu no one on kitty. Nya Obu no parents here nyaraka or sponsor of skill acquisition for him while in rehab. Oputa uzubo si mepelia something. Let's get him engaged with something
another
outside that location. So that is how that environment, because availability of drug is one of the factors. Environment, you know, na 2-story building, na fuka the other side, and that thing don't na made it go on. if onye na-aṅụ siga kịta afụkọ onye ọzọ na-aṅụ siga ọma nnọkọta nwụ ọ ga na-adọ ya give ndị na-aṅụ mmanya otu aha no so it's in our own environment and I let the drug there is no way and you are just trying to come out of it so there is no way the person wouldn't go back but there are other factors like my colleague said here. Let me start with living in denial. We're talking about reasons why some people don't come out, right?
Yes.
Living in denial, bona, anama bad drug. Ekweta ham na nwe drug problem. Maybe I will just be telling you that I'm in control. I can control it. Whatever, you know, with that kind of a thing. My parents, when you can decide they are on their own, achoro kandi abatobi, achoro kandi nkanu amahuna mwahana about the drug. They will continue to protect that child instead of seeking for help. Now, if you're sick, you have not acknowledged that you're sick. It means that you will not go and look for medication that will help you. Oh, home we got the narrow adderogate. Where to get help for yourself. So living in denial is one of the greater factors. That environmental, my colleague mentioned, is one of the biggest factors. Now, living in denial is one of them. Then lack of support. Obona, let's say, njesia puta. And what am a good support system around me? The tendency of me going back is high too. For example, if my family are supposed to support me, this support can be do business or business. They are supposed to support me emotionally, mentally, psychologically. I need their support because I am struggling with something that I can't handle on my own. I need their support to be able to pull out. I've said this in this place for like as many times as I can remember. Of one of the clients who returned back to this habit after 8 months of keeping off. Why? Because he had a fight with his younger sister. His younger sister feeling his best in the house. And the girl met on a boy addicts like you. He felt unloved. He felt unaccepted. That's if you don't get the support from your family. The outside of the good, all your family get present to give good to others. Now, if you don't get that support from your family and then your friends, the tendency, we were created to love and be loved. No matter how we look at it, we all need to be loved. We all need to love. The moment you feel unloved around somebody, you start looking for a way to either go out, leave that person, as in go out of that environment, to look for somebody that will love you. And I can bet you, you're gonna bonk. Ihunanya baro bye-bye.
I'm telling you.
Or the king na beer parlor, ihunanya na move. Because he na bonk, 119 they just see you. They just say, look at these our frustrated brethren. As you are coming, they're welcoming you. They can offer the highest amount of this drug to you free of charge. Onye na-ele ga-enye gị iwe ike weta godu nke kacha gala ọnụ nye gị wee settle gị.
Imete akwa awechi gosi ya asigodo abuki. Ichonye gị na ya ebeta akwa o betere gị akwa afufuwe ya.
Ndị ọzọ colleagues in the same business of using drug, they can even offer the one ha ji n'aka to make sure that they welcome you. So if we don't get the love from the people that we're supposed to get the love from, we'll start looking for the love outside. And that is one of the reasons now. I just talked about lack of support. Then my colleague mentioned about underlying mental issue is one of them. Then lack of motivation. Motivate you to be a better you. It can push you into that. And Akwima, for you to do better, you need something to motivate you. For as a man, motivate you. As a child, mama more papa more motivate telling you that you can always, you can be better than what you are. We all need people and things that would motivate us to be the better version of ourselves. Another thing about when madu digoro totally dependent, that is addiction. It is totally dependent on the use of drug. He mentioned it with my colleague. No, grace of God though.
Yeah.
To pull you out.
Yes,
Then he also mentioned environment. I also want to talk about inability of the person using the drug to assess treatment or rehabilitation. Sensitization one day, the Commissioner for Health was there. He said, some can summarize. I don't know. One of the things he said at the summary is that as in for it's easier and better for you not to get in. Makana rehabilitation abo free. When rehabilitation no go free. The only thing be free your decision not to enter.
Yes.
Number one, we get go where bad drug. Number two, you get ego when you carry bad drug where go for rehabilitation. And the truth is that, like we said, the condition of things in the country today, things are very expensive. To live, in fact, somebody is there on a social media handle, they say I live for a living. And I say, what do you do for a living? Or say I'm living for a living. To live is, in fact, it takes living for you to make a living in Nigeria. You just have to survive. Survival is a means of, in fact, for a living, I am surviving for a living. So things are extremely expensive. Ongo, they were too expensive. So even now put together my administrative charge in the rehabilitation and all that. It's expensive. So why don't you think about not getting involved than struggling to come out? And now in this state, each go to come out, each or enyamaka, and you need the enyamaka professionals in this, but you don't have what it takes. So many parents sell everything that they can sell to take their children to rehab. I am sure that you listener, you don't want to put your parents through that. You don't want to push, because drug abuse will make you to hurt the people that you don't plan to hurt. The people that you love, that you want to be better, you want to see smile on their faces, are the ones you're going to hurt the most. If your parents have to sell everything in the house, or everything I know, everything we can borrow the henny no when you can make 1 million. Mana they had to sell everything just to make sure na the problem. I'm sure you don't want your parents or your loved ones to pass through that.
So Ima, before Anosike kweyo okunon, if this cost of rehabilitation.
Yes.
So mana onyo mana ga into onwe ike obu na onwe onye na pass through sustain need ebia for rehab na office un. So like egon approximately egon enwe ike ka mmadụ nwere ike iji waga for rehabilitation. At least onye na-achị banye na-enwe ọgwụ ike a uche edekwa na ọ bụrụ obere ife ka anyị na-ekwu maka.
Well, I can only tell you, if you have such challenge, why not number by every day? Call us. We will direct you to the place. Because so just call. We will direct you or yes, he got the place. Or you go to our rehabilitation center office side in a 33 in Onisha. Any keke for office in the drug or one or signboard man or one on the place. So they will direct you to the place. They will give you the list of the things that you need to buy, because the amount that you're going to pay. So you go there, they will give you the list of the things which are your personal things, things that you're going to use personally while you are there. Then they will tell you the amount you're going to pay. But I assure you, NDLEA is still the cheapest anywhere within the state or outside the state. NDLEA rehabilitation is one of the, in fact, the cheapest anywhere, because they almost half of what private
is the cheapest.
are
I
taking.
don't think no private would even come down to the level at which NDLEA
No private, because I'm going to go on
Exactly.
So, Mr. Anosika,
I want to, before I talk about, I want to talk about underlining mental issues. I just want to cite an example. I want to tell a story of a podcast I watched that the lady had relapsed like 5 times before that podcast, that very time. But I want us to understand that I can rent a bulldozer for 250 or 300,000 to bring down a building. That is destruction. So that's the act of going into drugs. So if you're still experimenting, that is the cost you're spending for experimenting. You're still testing with friends, social pressures, peer group influence and all that. That is the cost. But to rebuild, to repair, trust me, 10 million cannot help you to bring down that, to bring up back that building that cost you 250 to get a bulldozer to bring down. So I want us, as we are listening, let's be very conscious of it. Even those of you, my colleague here, Madam Priscilla, talked about living in denial. That is one biggest issue. In fact, I think it covers every other factors, because that is the reason why the person would have gotten to the point of total damage before they can now start seeking help. A man and one have to go out of hand because the parents were living in denial that this thing is not real or it's not happening because they don't want people to know. So also by the time they can no longer manage it within, now, underlying mental issue, there's this lady, she was a victim of rape, and that was what led her into abuse of tramadol. And she takes it just to, get herself off mood.
Yes.
And when her family realized it, they took her to rehabilitation. But one thing the rehabilitation center they took her to did not do the due diligence to, which is one of also the factors, because one of the factors why people relapse or go back to drug is inadequate treatment. Are you getting it? Now, they didn't find out the root cause of this problem. She kept that one personally to herself. Are you getting it? So each time they finish the process, or now she back. Are you getting it?
Yes.
In the course of trying to blend back into the society, each time a young man, a fire acts higher out, it's like the thing brings back the whole memory. She would always relapse. So it has lingered, like even her system has gotten to a point that it rejects even the treatment. That was what brought about the podcast. Like they were helpless. So that very day, the story came out, and in fact, I think that was the beginning of her cure or help which she got. Because now, when there are underlying mental issues, this one is just a case of rape.
Yes.
There's this other one. I think it has to do with my cousin personally. That is marital abuse. Are you getting it? And has got to the point of panic attack. That each time you can just come to the door and knock on the door, that fear will grip her, and immediately she would have emergency bleeding. Are you getting it? And she had gotten to the point that she takes all manner of drug just to keep her sane. My everything. Are you getting it? Now, there are so many underlying mental illness. These are factors. Remember, we are looking at factors that can be responsible for one to always relapse, for treatment to look like if is impossible, all effort. Yes. Are you getting it? Now, it's also an advice to perhaps rehabilitation, those private ones out there, that if people come for help for rehabilitation, I think it's very important to, first of all, dig deep into the root cause of why that person started abusing drugs, first of all. Because if you don't get it right, no matter how much you spend, the private rehab there take over $1 million plus. Are you getting it? So after spending that money, it's always heartbroken to the family to know that they've spent so much and there's nothing to hold on to. Are you getting it? So that's this point I wanted to talk about.
Madam Priscilla, another question from me.
Go ahead.
I'm aligning Chairman Rehabilitation Center delimited in Nigeria as far as Nigeria is concerned. So Kekunja partner with all these private rehabilitation centers to make sure that people now be to you people for rehabilitation are taken care of. Sometimes in Agwanya during these programs that na some people na abia or na bed they had on a space on a rehabilitation center. So Kekunja work with those private rehabilitation centers.
Well, I want the coordinating body, right?
Yeah.
So onye na-emepe no bụ ya nwa ka ọ dị ara ịbịakwute anyị say anyị I am opening
Ready
something
okay.
like this ebe dota. I just want to get identified with you.
Okay.
So for those of them that identified with us, we refer people to them.
Okay.
But I know that there are a couple of them in town that did not identify with us, and if you don't identify with us, there is no way we can know where you are and that you are existing. You know, chatter something nasty or an official thing. So you treat it as a serepa. So for a few that identified with us, we are directing people to them, especially when we are fully booked. Do on our book on do photo. A director, because they will let them manage and be waiting. Because apart from the facts now, I am cheapest. I never pay attention to details. So I'm that sometimes some people relapse, but the rate of relapse can't drop that high.
Okay.
So, like I said, I need to pay attention to details. He mentioned finding out what led to this. It's not just Madonna about drug. Most often they are about drug. When he push right into that. Or just a few bona no na medicine na ka medicine. When some of them bono no macaroni na name. But majority of the people that are into drug, inanya something most of them see from abusive homes. When none are not, most women, married women in Afobo, neglect. Imako feeling neglect, feeling unloved in your own home. And the man can do ugwu si anu nke ha bụ chaka isi anu. Ndị ugwu nwere ike nụọ tata echi asị onye abụrụ abịa na ha da anuzi. Oshi ha ga divorce. Iburu akpa gị narie. Inwe ike anụbata gị tata eru echi nwoke asịkwa na afụ ga another person genotia. Then if na iyasago the emotions of nke nuta debe na house. So most of them find solace in drug, especially codeine. Onya biga na notes oka the rate AGM abuse codeine kacha that carrier case me abuse number that aba. So a lot of things may lead to that too. So finding out the cause of what led to the person bukwa healing halfway or in fact more than halfway. Makemaro like you see now one. Kedi he me isi ajina awam like this. Nje welo para, nwo para. Ihe na treat bu isi owa. Kedi treat be am gini na cause this isi owa. Obukwanu no typhoid. Maybe nje feel somehow nje woro ogwo malaria. Nwo or subside at that period after a little while if you surface. That is what happens when you don't handle the reason that led to that, which if you find out, when they would just say, Imago, rehabilitation is rehabilitation, helping the person recover lost abilities. That is what rehabilitation is. So, into that, you have to help him to come back to normalcy because his brain had to go shattered. His mental system had to go shattered. When he came here, when he raped multiple times. So on our babies coming to him. So on our find the solace in drug. When did the abuse or bring her kind of turn her into punching bag. My colleague gave an example with a cousin. So, if you are treating, find out the cause of the ailment so that as you're treating the cause, the ailment now find its way.
So those people, those centers who they refer people to, how are you guys monitoring the activities there?
Of course,
to make sure they are practicing the right
you
thing.
got refer to somebody without you keeping it. You cannot show him the progress of the person because you got him and got direct come again.
Exactly.
So you will monitor, you will call, you will visit when need be for you to visit. So for you to know whether no one if not, direct once, direct twice, and from that place, you wouldn't want to direct a third person to that place. Thank you.
And they know you can direct.
Exactly, exactly.
Maybe I will come back later this about this relapse man I choke I may pay go where I'm wondering kunako when they change join okay what I go obnines no rani femma akare kwente ne ke ga kpo we jwajuju anye jwajuju nwelebo 0706 538 1320 0706 538 1320
or buy na 080 848 72166 080 848 72166.
dịka ị na-akpanya anyị nwekwara iwu ị ga-agbọtnete volum redio nke a bụ nke mbụ ịgwa anyị afa na ebe isi na-akpọ shapali ịgwa anyị ife na-agwa anyị ọ bụla ajụjụ ịjụ ọ bụrụ nkọwa inye anyị wee nwike wega n'iru onwe nọ
na hello, good morning. Good morning. Call us back.
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Pụọ na redio gị, pụọ na ebe redio gị dị ka anyị wee na maka ọ na-eme eko.
Mba, nọ m redio.
Okay, ngwa gaa n'ihu.
Biko, ọchị dịka obi, esi m okpe ji akpọ.
Chi dịka obi.
Gaa n'iru.
Ana m esonyere line na steji. Biko, ihe m na-ekwu bụ ụmụaka kịta ya emebichego. Onwe ndị kpọtụọrụ unu na-agba mbọ daba. Ife a Madam Priscilla na ndị otu ya na-eme onwe onye ha na-emegide ọkwa ka ọ dịrị fa mma ọ ka ọ dịrị ndị ahụ mma ọ bụ maka Madam Priscilla. So anyị wụ ndị okenye ugbogo anya anyị ihe anyị ji echi na-akpọ ma anyị fụbụ maka echi ama onye ga-abụ eze ịbịa nne anyị esi ọwụbeghị nwa ya mgbe ara bidoro enwere ike isi ka ije ozi bụ agbata obi o were ma gbuwa agha isi so ya anyị ji wee na-eti ana m ekele unu na ife ha na-eme ana m esonye oge ọbụla every Tuesday bụ na m ga-esonye sonyekwarụ nke biko esemokwu na-akpọ ka ndị ọzọ tinye ọnụ.
Thank you, Oga. We appreciate it.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning.
Onye ni ya nke mgba nkịtị ga-abịakwa m na gị arụ ị ga-agba mbọ n'ekwu maka na
ebe anyị gbuo ka anyị nwa ife dị n'obi.
Oh yes. Okay, I don't know better. Hello.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Onye ga-adịrị ma na ADS daalụ nọ. Ama m bụ Chineke Nwachukwu etinyebere ebe abụọ.
Gaa n'iru nọ.
Ihe mmemme unu na amaka. Ebe m chọrọ ịjụ bụ onye a rehabilitate ya onye agwọsịrị ihe na-eme ya akpọchie anya na azụ na bepa emeghị anya ọ bụrụ na aka nwekwara dịka ọnọdụ okirikiri ebe onye anọdụ ka unu kwuru onye anwụ ịgbanwe ọnọdụ ebe onye anwa nọ onye ọgbanwe anya ịna-anya onye ọkwụsị ịnwe ọgwụ a ga-akpali inwe ndị na-enyekwa ọgwụ ahụ ọ na-ahụ ebe ahụ nwekwara ike ịna na ọfụma gara ịba ọnọkọta bitin amalitekwa ọzọ na ndụ onye anwa ọzọ ka ibe nchọrọ ikwu bụ dịka mba ahụ na-agba ịma na mba magburu onwe ọrụ egatiri Pharmacist Alex Onyido igwe ndị ogidi na ndị ọzọkwa na-enye aka ana m ayọ dịka ọnọdụ a magburu onwe si ya gọọmenti ka ama ma gọọmenti enwe ike inye aka itinye aka n'ọnọdụ dị otu a maka na ndị nwere ego ka m chọpụtara na-akpụ m meseji ebe a enwe ndị nwere ego mana ọnọdụ a dị na bepụta amarịta a ga-eme like ụmụazị na-aṅụ ihe ọnwa ma mkpụrụ mmiri m ya dị iche iche ndị mebiri isi n'ime obodo dị iche iche ebuka ndị nwere ndị ga-enyere aka masị ka ayọ gọọmenti ka agbata ọsọ enyemaka dịka mmemme unu na-eme na ọmagburu onwe gụnyọ gọọmenti ka tinye aka kwado ihe a ụmụazị a na nwoke buru mmiri ka ọ benete daalụ gị
daalụ ka Madam Priscilla zazi ajụjụ ejo
ọ wetara ovu ka ọ jụrụ
ajụjụ ọ jụrụ ọ sị na onye na-aṅụ detain na wee nyecha enye ọgwụgwọ na echenji such a person location ebe ọ nọ just like anyị kwuru na environment si ebute mmadụ ịnachi ya azụ so si na echenjiela onye ahụ environment chọkwala ya ife ọ na-eme na onye ahụ ọ ya agụ ya kpamkpam
site n'ike Chineke o kwesịrị ịgwa ya and ịmakwa na for you to get like for example ọ bụrụ na arụ adịrọ m ọ bụrụ na m ekweta dị na arụ adịrọ m ọ wee bụrụ na my husband bịa duru m bịa duje somewhere si ka agwọ m ya bụ ọya nnọrọ ebe anwa I'm just wasting my time, your time, and your money. Okay, water. Yes, just nnọrọ ebe and just na-eche gị unu mechie ihe time unu kwuru ụgwọ ọgwụ gafee ka nnabala onwe m. But healing starts with you, the sick person, acknowledging the fact that you have a problem and you need a help. Ọ bụrụ na ịmata na ị nwe problem, ọ ga-agụwazi gị agụ, what can I do? Ka nyelu onwe m aka ọ ya bụ enyemaka ọ bụla a ga-enyelu m with my little effort I can stand on my own. Ọ bụ na onye ahụ nwetacha the rehabilitation na ọ bụ na o decide enwe mkpebi n'onwe ya to go for the rehabilitation and ọ gụrụ ya agụrụ to come out onye abụọ pụta onwegodi the temptation ọ kwuru nwa n'okwu ya wee sị no I don't want to pass through what I've been through before onyela onwe ya aka mana ọ bụrụ na onye na-ekwetara na ya nwee problem iwe esichakwa time and money ọ mụchagodokwa ọlụ ọ pụkwa the environment ahụ o ji esef the first people ọ na-afụ bụ ndị na-agbakwa the thing so the solution starts with you acknowledging, in fact, stop living in denial. That's the word. Both the user and the people around him, his loved ones, his family, to live in denial. Let's accept that we have a problem. Let's accept that we need an help. Ka enyemaka ahụ bata kono ya bo na enyemaka bata oburu enyemaka nyere anyị. Thank you.
Then alon na atu akwala onye junya wa ajuju bo obuna onwe such a person na bie. Ya bugodu ụzọ always ya alugodu bo nya convince wegodie ka o kwetegodu na o chọ ịpụta na nya wa akpala ma.
Obiakware na nka one of the things we do is to you don't just carry somebody and just go and dump him there because he needed his consent. Yes. And for you to get his consent, you need to make him see the need for him to go there. Yes. So we do our best when it comes to that, but Madabarofo. And then another thing, Okurobo, we are appealing to government to also put hand so that in there yes, they help. Well, we are here. Government konako ba government in the mekwike ha. When some individuals in obodo anyị aba Anambra nwe ezigbo ego they can decide to invest in this. Oburo this investment kita aburo ihe ga-yield any returns. This is an investment in making the life of people for the sake of posterity. You are not expecting anything because you will not get anything in return. Now, bro, ngozi chukwu na ngozi gị. Ihe na-eme bụ ikwunye ụgwọ to subsidize ego ndị anụwa. Ka ọ ya bụ ọ bụrụgodu na asịgodu na 400 for example. You see, I see no one near 200,000 each for mmadụ 10. The man na mmadụ 10 no work or hana bezi ha ga kuzi bu 200 instead of 400. Ya bụ na ego ha ga je chobazie mgbanwa ebe na tatugo. So ọ dịrị ha mfe ịchọta ya. So ndị Anambra ba anyị biko no ndị ọ dị n'aka nye n'aka ka a subsidize tụrụ ndị no nwere ka ọra ha the rehabilitation.
Even na boya na ministry bụ enyemaka si n'igwe.
So we have a caller here.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Hello, good morning. The work network na phone nke.
Ngwan imana akara ga akpọkwazi ka we mara ma network ọnụ ma n'ọnọrọ. Bọkwuo 0706 538-1320. Okay. 0706-538-1320.
Okay. So, my line na 080-848-72166. 080-848-72166.
Okay.
Before then, ka mkpọgodu nọmba ndị NDLEA. In case ọ bụ na ọ nwe onye chọọ ka ya na ndị NDLEA kwuo, ọkachasị na enyemaka anyị na-ekwu okwu ya ka ọ kpọọ ọfa. Kpọọ ndị NDLEA Anambra State Command na 091-368-32679. 091-368-32679. Ma ọ kpọọ ọfa na 081-215-16366. 081-215-16366. Nọmba ndị NDLEA Anambra State Command. Ịkpọzie ava gị na asụọ. Daalụ.
Hello. Hello, when the one can I even equity?
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, good morning.
Oge Chukwu na Oge Chukwu from Orumba South.
Okay, Chukwu no.
Orumba South, Nigeria.
Gaa n'ilu.
Ana m ege program unu na.
Ndewo.
Thank you.
Ka ada na-edi ọnọdụ dị otu a enwere m somebody n'afọ nke pasụpọt n'anyịla nwoke. Ndị nsogbu ahụ dapụtakwa na achọgwa m ka m mesi wee ede nwụọ ebe ahụ. Echi m bịara eburu ọda mụ na-adị ndị ọkara ka m mesi wee dị onye njụrụ asị m amaghị ebe ọ dị na-eburu ọda onye njụrụ amaghị ebe ọ dị na-eburu ọda so ka m mesi loketi nwe ebe ahụ efu na-eziri atọ.
Okay. Ị nweta nọmba ndị NDLEA mkpọ just now.
Mgbe ugbu a kpọọ nọmba anyị je nweta unu ka e were kwuo okwu ka m ji were.
Ngwa ka m kpọkwa nọmba ndị NDLEA ọzọ ka ị nweta. Kpọọ ndị NDLEA ka m kpọrọ gị nọmba ndị NDLEA Anambra State Command.
Thank you.
So ịchọọ ka gị na ndị NDLEA Anambra State Command kwuo kpọọ fa na 091-368-32679. 091-368-32679. Ma ọ kpọọ fa na 081-215-16366. 081-215-16366. Nọmba ndị NDLEA Anambra State Command. Daalụ.
Ọ dị maka nna ejite azụ maka na nke a bụ ajụjụ ikpeazụ nchọ ịtụpụrụ gị tupu wee na-achịkọta ife mmemme anyị tata dịka ọ bụrụ ndị Igbo asị na ọlụ ahụ na-alụ dị milimios onye nke nna wee tọọ n'elu wee sị na ntọntọ tọrọ ntọntọ wee tọntọntọ akwụghọtago so ibe nna achọ ịjụ ikwuru okwu maka this relapse so unu onwe na-achị dịka NDLEA na-agba mbọ iji wefu na ndị mmadụ nwetara onwe fe kachasị ndị nke na-anwụ ya bụ ọgwụ fọnapa nwetara ezi nlekọta kedu ife mmadụ nọ na recovery nwee ike idevelop as a kind of coping mechanisms and resilience kedu ka onye nke nọ na recovery mmadụ nọ na recovery ga-esi develop nwuo coping mechanisms and resilience iji wefu na prevent that relapse na-aga apụtakarị maọbụ na na-azọpụta mmadụ
During rehabilitation,
okay.
One of the things that we teach is what is called coping skills.
Okay.
That is, apart from the general counseling, apart from any other thing that you get, one of the things that you will get before you leave our facility is coping skills. We teach you a lot of things under coping skills.
Okay.
And if you heed to that, you will not have much challenge. In fact, more than 70% of the problem is already solved if you can heed to the coping skills that you are taught.
Okay.
And I am not going to start teaching you.
Oh, my bad, I'm ministry.
It covers it in details.
Okay.
Hello? Hello?
Hello.
Good afternoon. How far you na ebe akpọ?
Esi m na Anambra State.
Na-ekwu na anụmanụ unu.
Afa m bụ Nwoke.
Na-ekwuchikwa okwu ike ka anyị na-anụ ilu na-ekwu.
Nwoke Chizoba.
Okay.
Chizoba nnọọ gaa n'ilu.
Achọrọ m ihe ndị Igbo ji
Ịchọ ndị NDLEA ka ha mee gịnị? Hello?
onye nọ iwe dịkwanụ ka
Ị akpa anyị ụbọchị ọzọ. I think no nwata ji nọmba mama ya wee kpọọ.
onye ndịkwa ka ọdụlọ gị ka m
Okay.
hello
Hello?
good morning
Afọ anyị na-ebe
Onye
isi.
adịgolu mma.
Fụkwa na redio gị o.
fụtakwa
Ọ lady itoolu na-akpọ from Asaba.
gaa n'iru nnọọ
Okay.
Biko m na-ekene unu n'ifu m na-eme. Ndị otu ntinye program a wee kọpị nọmba. Ka mma ma ọ dịkwa correct.
ịnwetaghị anyị
Correct, ị nwere ike.
Kenelu Mpisilia.
Ma Chibuike.
Ọgwọ nnọọ ya ka ọ bụ.
O ji ọnụ agụọ ya.
Welukwa nọmba ndị NDLEA ada. Welu nọmba ndị NDLEA.
Iwetakwa nọmba ndị NDLEA.
Enwetaghịkwa m.
Mma akpụ ya ba ka i welie mezie gị na akpa.
Emechie ka m nweta.
Mma akpụ ya na.
Well, yeah, now take this number 081 2151 6366.
Okay.
Emecheze ikpọ the number.
yewa
Daalụ.
Thank you.
Akpụ ebe ka anyị abịachikwu ya n'ụbọchị taa. Maka taịm anyị agawo. Ị na-anya n'ife na-akụ na oge news anyị na-achọzi. So Madam Priscilla, briefly, your last word. Obele.
Last sentence you made.
Sentence.
Makandi proprietors of schools and principals of different schools. Our quiz competition is starting on Thursday this week, 5th of June. Obuni register and you still want to participate, you have a chance. Buru Boromaka Biawa that day. 3 students to represent your school, Federal Secretariat. Ibiaba mega form Aukonde or Ijoes Bendi NDLEA now conducts the quiz. You will see us there. And for our dear people listening, Bikono, let us not continue to live in denial. It is destroying, as in all the more destructive than protective. Thank you very much.
Mr. Anosike Obele.
If you are listening to us and by chance you know that one way or the other you've been abusing drugs, and everything we've said today you can comprehend, it means you still have a chance. Like the damage has not gotten to the point that it cannot be repaired. So what I'm saying to you, just like Madam Priscilla said, don't live in denial, make yourself available, seek for help while you still have the time and chance to do that. God bless you.
So daalụ, in summary, na onye na-ayọ ya kwete na ọ na-ayọ ya ka e wee nye ọgwụgwọ. Onye ọma na-ege anyị ntị daalụ, ebe ka anyị na-eweta ya na njedebe n'ụbọchị taa. Ọ bụrụ na ị kpọrọ anyị n'ụbọchị taa, anyị nwere ike ipik your call, kpọchie anyị n'izu ụka ọzọ. Daalụ na isonyere anyị. Afa m bụ Emmanuel Okonkwo.
ma onwe m bụ onye kachukwu ogochukwu na-asị ka ọ dịza na